What's up, people? I am back. I know it's been a while. I haven't had time to make very many videos. I have been gone for work both in Florida and Georgia for the, of course, the hurricane that hit, and with my work that sent me out there. So I've been gone for quite a bit from home, but I've got some goodies for the 1M clone, and I've been wanting to put these in the car for a little bit. They just arrived around the time I've got here, and then I've also got a lot of interior mods that I'm going to be doing in this car as well that I can absolutely not wait and look forward to installing today. Obviously, to bring the car, make it a little bit more modern, make it look better, make it sound better, interior wise, because the stock system that is not very good, I believe it's called the BMW Professional, or people call it just the Professional system, or the Hifi, is not very good. I mean, it's not bad, but again, when I've got the M3 sitting over there that sounds freaking amazing with the Harman Kardon, and I've got this thing over here that just is not that great and does not sound very good. We've got to go ahead and, you know, update things, bring it up to par with everything else. But to show you guys what I've got, we've got the whole unit sitting right here. So I'm sure you guys have seen this. I found them on the forums and some of the Beamer groups. This is the Android unit, and you can do both. I believe it's the CarPlay, the Android Auto, but it comes with literally everything you need. The only thing it doesn't come with is instructions. So unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's that complicated. Kind of just plug and play on everything. What's really nice is you've got your GPS option, your 4G, and your 5G options should you decide to use them. But other than that, it has everything you need in here. So we're gonna get started on installing this, checking it out. Also, I made sure I added on a backup camera because I haven't had a car without a backup camera in years. And this car does not have a backup camera. So we're gonna add that to it. This also comes with a lot of really cool features too. So you've got 2 additional plugs for your USB cables and whatever else you want to plug in to run through here. So I want to run a gauge to view how the car is running and check all the, you know, fuel options and all that good stuff. I can plug it up to here, or I can just download the Android app on here and run it all from there. But it's pretty badass. I've seen a lot of videos and some guys that have this, and it's a really cool option in my opinion. In that ugly little dash in the center of the car that just looks really basic and funky and out of place, this will swap all of that and keep all the OEM functions but give you a lot of newer functions. So kind of figuring a lot of this out myself, but you guys will be able to see, really just get a good view of exactly what it looks like, how it runs. I'll let you know how complicated it is out of like say 5 or 10. But other than that, I don't think it'll be that complicated. If you've done the relocation and all the stuff on the motor, the interior stuff is really, really straightforward in my opinion. So let's get started.
A few moments later.
Now, the one thing you're gonna have to do that you might not want to do, but it's honestly super easy. You can use a Dremel, you can use whatever kind of tool you wanna use. Some people don't like to use stuff to cut stuff, but it really is super easy. Don't get deterred from it, it's super easy. So the thing that comes up here, and you'll see it here, is you're gonna have to cut some sides off, but it's really easy. So let me show you. But it's really easy, so let me show you. The tabs that you have here that are stuck on, you need to shave them off. So you're gonna cut this part out. Now this part I did obviously after YouTube because I couldn't get it to fit. And then I figured, you know what, I probably have to cut it, but let me just double check before I cut shit that I don't need to cut. But as you can see, I've shaved them off, used the little Dremel I got there, and shaved off the tab here, just here. You don't need to do the lower one, just the outer ones, because it stops you from sliding this on. So you guys can get a little bit of an idea of what I mean. Oh. So as you try to put this on here to fit in place, this won't fit and it'll stop you because those tabs. But once you shave it, you're all good. So I'll keep going through this. Since a lot of the other stuff is really not all that important, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just go through the next bits and pieces, and then I'll just clip in the rest of the video once it's done so you can see how it works, the quality, if the quality is good, is it shit, how the backup camera works, all that good stuff. So sit tight. The next part, which is running the wires from back here to go through this bit right here. So once we run all the wires through here, we're gonna fish it through this under panel area. Kind of hard to see in there, but we'll fish everything from here, connect this all up, and we'll have most of the unit running. So I don't know if you guys could tell, but I just got the car detailed all the way around. Really, I had them only detailing it also because you know how older BMWs,
You don't look a day over 70, am I right?
have that old BMW smell. Nothing wrong with it or anything like that, but to get us started on where we are before, so I've got the whole unit optical decoder box, I believe is how you would say it, but I finally got that installed. So as you can see here, this looks really, really nice. This looks, you guys know I really like that OEM Plus look. I don't like anything that has that funky, you know, clearly aftermarket, but this looks really, really good. Now, I don't have it sitting flush because I want to make sure all the wiring and everything is good, but I finally got it working. This looks really freaking clean if you ask me. I mean, look at that. You can't tell me that does not look clean as hell. And also, guys, tell me too if you notice anything weird. I finally got the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 camera, and this thing is badass. So I'm still learning little kinks and whatnot of how this camera works and all that good stuff, but video quality should be significantly better. You guys are going to be getting a ton of really badass videos from me that'll have much better sound quality and all the good stuff that comes with it. But the video quality should be significantly better moving forward. Audio quality should be significantly better because I'm going to be doing everything with this Osmo Pocket 3. So before we get started, remember, I am going to be putting links for all the stuff I buy on my car here. So should you guys decide to do any of these items yourself, I'll have links to absolutely everything you'll need. So one of the things I realized that really sucks with some of the Chinese products is, although the quality and craftsmanship of all of this stuff in here, I'm going to say, is actually pretty damn good. And every person that's gotten in this car thought this was factory, which is freaking hilarious because it's definitely not factory. This head unit in here has drastically made it look so much better. But in saying that, I can say for sure that the audio quality was significantly improved over what I had prior. Now, granted, I couldn't even do Bluetooth prior. All I could do was aux, and you already know aux does not sound that great. But with the new setup, I was able to do optical fiber, which is... But if you take a look at here, I'm going to start it. Now, I can't really drive the car because I don't know if you guys have known, but ever since I did the full shorty intake, ARM has released that intake, so it's no longer a prototype. So as you can tell from the sound, I still haven't set up my radio bands, so it's still on channels that don't work, so you get that funky static noise. But if you guys can check this out and see here, look at how dang good that looks. The quality is extremely good. Let me fix this because that sounds terrible. Whoops. So the best part is, of course, I've got my steering wheel controls, so I can control everything from the factory radio, and that's on 2. So I don't know what this head unit does, but I think it drastically amps up the audio. And I'm not an audiophile or what anyone would call it, but I think it drastically amps a lot of the audio pretty much everywhere. So on 1, this sounds as loud as the radio was prior. On, say, like 10, they do it here. They don't have it set up as specifically like Android Auto per se, but let's say if I click Z-Links, that's their Android Auto. So as you can see, I've got my music here, I've got my map locations here that I can go to, and then you've got, you know, your maps, obviously. So you've got all your options. And do not cheap out and get the 2 gigs of RAM and like 32 gigabytes of hard drive space, because it's not very good. You want to make sure you get one that has, bare minimum, I'd have to say at least 4 gigs. 4 gigs and up. I went ahead and opted for the 8 gig version with, I think, like 125 gigs or something like that. But I wanted to have plenty of RAM so this thing runs really, really smoothly, because as you guys can see, it's snappy. And I'm telling you now, this feels like OEM stuff. Like, it's very snappy. I have no issues with how anything runs on it. The one thing for sure that I have to say is the instructions, or lack thereof. The Chinese stuff comes with 0 instructions. So I spent, kid you not, I'm not ashamed of myself for saying this, I spent 2 weeks trying to get this to work. Granted, for one, when I bought the unit, it was supposed to be plug and play. It was not plug and play. If you have a base E82, then yes, it will be plug and play. But if you have optical fiber on yours, or a hi-fi unit as they call it, this is not going to work. Now, the unit will work, but they leave out, and no one seems to care to tell you that, hey, if you don't have an optical fiber decoder, none of this is going to work. So for 2 weeks, I sat here and played with every single possible option that's hidden. They don't give you passwords, so you can't access anything within the system. So I was stuck ravaging through YouTube and forums to essentially find out what the code was. Despite all of that, I will not take away and I will not lie. For the price, I think I spent like $269 or some $269 or $289 total. And this is a very, very high quality unit. It's just the lack of instructions. And if you're someone that gets frustrated really, really quickly, I probably wouldn't advise getting it, because you're not going to have any assistance. The assistance you might have from them is terrible. The audio quality from what it was prior to now, I'd probably have to say factory hi-fi unit, in my opinion, because obviously I've got an M3 with Harman Kardon in it. I'd say in this car it's probably like a good 4 out of 10. With this head unit, I'm going to probably say it's gone to like a 7 out of 10 from the 4. It's substantially better. And realistically, the whole point I really cared about was Android Auto and CarPlay. You can run your MHD through here, which I haven't set up completely yet, but I know you guys have probably seen people that have all the gauges on your screen. You can have all your gauges on the screen here, which I will have too once this is tuned, which will be tuned this month. So the car stops dying on idle. Access to every single option. It is essentially an Android phone at this point, so you can download any app you want. You can move and add apps wherever, and I mean, you can see on the video here, it's super snappy. It's like using my phone. There's no there's no delay, no lag or anything like that, and it just works really, really well. Oh dang it, did I delete this? Oh no, there we go. Boop. You also have the option that some people do where they'll add the gauge up top here. I'm not a huge fan of that for some reason. I feel like that's meant for the older cars, or not the older cars, for the newer cars. And some models do have this. I believe 2011, depending on the one you got. Mine's a 2011, but I think it's a first gen. The second gen ones that were, I think, the actual LCI facelift. So this is an LCI, but then there's an LCI facelift. The LCI facelift got the full unit that goes at the top. But that is okay, but again, I'm not a fan of it either, and I think the OEM unit that's here prior looks like shit. There's nothing there, so this drastically improves it. As you can see, that alone makes this entire interior look so dang good. There's a lot of other options I didn't talk about here. It comes with the mic. The mic they give you, I can tell you now, it's garbage. Just buy another one. It's literally just an aux port, so you'll connect it to here, but trash it and get a better one. I mean, they got this from what, $2, and they added in the kit. You can get a nice one for like $10-15. It's going to work 10 times better. You've got your 2 USB ports you can plug in, so if you want to have you know, your own USB slots for whatever, or plug in a phone, you've got access to that. I've got this thing routed up so well to where I'm not going to change anything on it. It's all good. Oh yeah, and the best part is I have a backup camera set up, so now when I'm going into reverse, even though this car is super easy to whip in and out, it's hard to not have a backup camera. Every car I've had for the past 12 years has had a backup camera. So when you go from having a backup camera to not having a backup camera, it's kind of shitty. So this will definitely have that on there, and it's a really good addition. Otherwise, this video is it for today. I just wanted to keep something quick, show you guys you can definitely upgrade these units. I know I've seen comparable units for, I believe, the E46, the E90, which is what people do, and it's pretty much identical to this unit. It's just the sides kind of go out even further. But I would highly recommend this unit. If you've got an E82, absolutely do it. You will not regret it. The reason I couldn't get the sound to work primarily the first time was because when I say there's the lack of instructions, no one essentially really knows what you're saying, even when you're telling them. They understand English, obviously, but not to the point where you can tell them the issue you're having, because I've repeated the same issue like 10 times and no one could give me a concrete answer. What sucked even worse is after I got the decoder box, it still didn't work. So for 3 days, I'm sitting here messing with the system and nothing's working. And all it ended up being was a developer option deep in the settings that are hidden by passcodes that you can't access because you don't have them. And when you ask them for them, they give you the wrong passwords, and you tell them, hey, this password doesn't work for this car. And they're like, that should be the right one. And you send them a photo showing that passcode does not work. And to not hear back for multiple days after, that's most of what I was running into. So YouTube was my best friend. The forums was my best friend. I'll start the car. Hopefully it doesn't die, because it dies after a few seconds. So let's see. Oh, good news. It didn't die on us. Yeah, it smells. It's super rich, and it's chugging itself. You hear it? Yeah, RPMs are bouncing. But if you go into your settings and then you go into car settings right here, there, so you go system settings, factory settings there, and then 1617. That's not the only code. That's the first code for this. Then when you go into the next screen, all of these secret options come up. So as you can see, all they had was aux. They didn't have any of my other options in. They didn't have Bluetooth checked. They didn't have anything else checked. So of course, for me to fix that, adjust everything to get this to run, because nothing wanted to run. But once I adjusted to the right one, everything started working with no issues. But enough of my rant. Hopefully you guys liked this video. I know it's probably not the best video. I'm learning this camera. The more I learn with it, the better the video quality is going to be. And I promise you guys, the next video coming up is going to be the Valvetronic exhaust on the M3. So I'm going to do a nice long full video of that, so you can hear it from idle, from high revs, low revs, everything that Valvetronic didn't show you, because honestly they kind of snipped out a lot of the stuff that makes it sound bad, and I'm not taking that away from it. It is the best exhaust I've heard for the car, but there are a lot of things that they left out that I wish I knew beforehand. Now that's simply fixed with the high flow cat or resonator, but again, if you've got straight flow pipes, I don't recommend the Valvetronic exhaust because it sounds like ass under load anywhere under 2000 RPM or 2200 RPM. But thanks for watching, guys. Y'all have a good day and take care.